Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 120 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-host,
George Breden.
And in this episode, we talk about the board games, City Builder Ancient World, Vindication, and Praga Caput Regni, and much more. Intern Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. What is the stupidest way you have ever hurt yourself?
Oh, man. Oh, I wish I could have prepared for this one.
Oh, that's such a good question.
That is a good question because I've hurt myself plenty of dumb ways. Oh, man.
Yeah, like so many dumb ways.
Do you have any on the top of your mind?
I was working at a job where I was loading things onto an aircraft container. One of these big like containers that they lift with a forklift and put onto planes, right? And probably shipping board games back and forth. Who knows? Just full of boxes. It was that kind of a shipping company. And these things would get strapped down. You would close the container, and then you have these big bungee like cords that you would strap down. You'd like crank them down. And one of these things was not buckled or latched properly at the bottom, at the base of the thing. And I yanked up on it to tighten it. And this huge metal buckle, I just flipped it right up into my face and chipped my tooth. Just like broke my tooth off.
Did you really? Did you have to get it veneered or something? Or
yeah, I had to go to the dentist and get it fixed and everything. Yeah.
I think for me, this is pretty epic. I didn't hurt myself that bad, but it is so dumb. Basically, this kind of tells you my age too. I was working at Blockbuster, and you know the checkout. Where you go to check out and get your movies and leave.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, you can walk between those to leave, right? You walk between them, you go through these metal detectors and you leave.
Yeah.
Well, I was learning how to do ollies with a tech deck, which is a small little skateboard for your fingers, right? And I was like, I would snap it on the floor and do a little ollie. And I was like, all right, watch this. I'm going to ollie from this checkout, tabletop, checkout, I can't even tell it. I can't even think of the words here.
It's
What's
like
the
a
name
counter.
of
a counter?
The counter. Yes. Duh.
This is like I just want to make sure I understand. This is like a toy skateboard you're playing with.
A toy skateboard. They're like 3 inches long, and you put your index and your middle finger on it and as your feet, and you lay them down. You're not standing up like your legs.
It already sounds stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can actually manipulate it and stuff. We were getting good at this stuff, man. And like you could do little ollies and everything, right? Well, anyway, I was like, I'm going to ollie from this checkout counter to that checkout counter. And it's like a 3 or 4 distance gap, right?
Right.
3 or 4 feet distance.
For people that don't know what an ollie is.
It's kind of like a bunny hop, but with a skateboard.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I got you now.
Okay. Yeah. So both the skateboard is off the ground, basically.
Yeah.
So I ollied from one counter to the next counter. However, when I was saying I was going to do this, I didn't realize that I knocked the broom over, right? And the broom basically made a tripwire, like in between my feet in the next counter. And so I got this speed going. I was into it, man. I popped the deck up and like my fingers were up in the air. And then it was just like, I got sideswiped. My feet just kicked into this broom and I just go plop on my side as hard as possible, almost knocking the wind out of myself.
Well, you almost killed yourself on a 3-inch skateboard.
It was pretty epic. I mean, I was like out of breath because it did knock some of the wind out of me because I hit hard, dude. Because the broom did not move. Because it got wedged between the counter and like the metal detector. And so it was wedged in there like you would shove it into a door to lock it. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
It was not fun. I mean, I was a little sore for a few days after that.
Kids, you should always wear a helmet when skateboarding.
at Blockbuster. Yeah. I'm using a finger deck, man.
You needed a helmet, clearly.
It was pretty funny. Oh,
that's awesome.
I have another one, but I've already told you that one. That one's kind of weird.
Okay, you didn't get hurt as badly as I did, but yours is way stupider.
It is pretty stupid. It's just because of what I was doing.
Yeah.
But it was just such a bad timing because, like, I was in front of the counter talking to my buddy who worked there, who were friends, and I was, olling on the front of the counter, and then I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to, like, jump from here to over there. But I had to get behind the counter to do so because the way the computers were, they're more up front.
Yeah.
So I got around the back, and like as I did that, I seriously just knocked I must have brushed the broom a little bit because it just fell into the right spot. And then,
oh man,
to my buddy's credit, he did not see the broom fall. Otherwise, he probably would have said something like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa."
Yeah,
but what happened?
Let's face it. Did he laugh? Did he laugh like nonstop for?
Well, he was like, dude, you all right? Because he where he was standing, he couldn't see where the broom was. He didn't have any idea why I fell over. And then once he saw that I was like mostly okay, and then he saw that the broom was there, it was pretty funny.
Oh man.
I mean, it was so dumb that I was laughing.
Yeah.
But it did knock the wind out of me just slightly. Not like, where your wind's all the way knocked out. It was just like, oh.
Yeah, this is back in the day you were working at Blockbuster. It was probably before you had reliable cell phone cameras.
Oh, yeah. No, this was 97 or 98.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Oh, that's funny.
Because I was in high school, and I was in high school from 97, 98. I was 97 to 2000. So it was probably more like 99 or 2000.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fun one. One of the questions I did answer on the previous podcast that you weren't on because you were working on the book stuff.
And that I haven't listened to either.
No, that's totally fine. I'll fill you in a little bit without boring the audience. But one of the questions was if you could bring, or if a fantasy creature, I think it's a mythological creature, could be real, which one would you pick?
Oh, I get to pick I just get to pick? Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be, I was like, dragons. But that could be really bad. But I was thinking,
real bad.
If you could train the dragons, you can actually have like water dragons put out forest fires and things like that. I mean, they would be super useful if they were trained.
Right? Yeah. What is that? That's a Disney thing, training dragons.
Yeah. How to Train My Dragon or whatever.
Yeah. Pixar? I don't know. It's one of those.
One of those. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good pick. Let me think here. I think I would want like a Kelpie or something, like one of those seahorses that's actually a horse that you get to, in the ocean.
Like to ride?
Well, I mean, I'm sure they kill you, but if you could, it would be awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I went for the utility of it, and George went for how cool would it be to see this?
How cool would it be? It'd just be fun.
All right. Well, anyway, we are a gaming podcast, but that is a fun thing to get our intern to ask. And for the most part, we always talk about what we've been up to between episodes. George probably has a little bit more to talk about. I'll start real quick just to kind of get some stuff out.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of League of Legends Wild Rift on the phone, which I talked about the last couple episodes. This is League of Legends mobile format. I don't think George has ever played League of Legends.
No.
Totally fine. I will say that the one difference between League of Legends on the phone and League of Legends on the computer is you really can't throw your computer. Dude, yeah, I can see some people that get frustrated because League is a game where you can get frustrated. This game is a little bit more relaxed in terms of how esports you need to be, how good, it's not as competitive as League on the PC, but sometimes stuff happens and I just want to be like, throw the phone or just crush it in my hand like Thanos. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you can destroy $1,000 piece of cell phone. I invested, well, actually a long time ago, I invested like 100 shares into Dogecoin or Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's gone up, right?
I know. In the past 24 hours, I bought it at 5 cents a piece, right? I was just like, what's $5? Click.
And now it's worth $10 probably.
No. No. It's went from 5 cents a share to 24 cents a share.
Whoa.
But that is a good percentage on my, I am 400%, 500% in?
Yeah, right?
I'm going to check out right now. What's crazy?
You probably should check out. It's going to come back down probably.
It's $5 that I have invested from the beginning. So I'll watch it fluctuate for 5 years. I don't care. Right?
You and Elon, you're going to enjoy this.
Oh no. Wait. Me and Elon and Slim Jim.
Is that why it went up?
Yeah, apparently they made some crazy meme post about it and then it just blew up for a day.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
But it's so cheap that it's interesting just to throw money at it. If you ever wanted to get into any kind of stocks, right? Like on Robinhood or something.
Yeah, but this is not a stock. Cryptocurrency is a different thing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it works like a stock.
It does. No, you're right. It basically does. Yeah.
In the Robinhood app, you click the same buttons as a stock. So, okay. And you watch it like a stock.
Yeah.
So my point is, if you've got somebody who is younger and wants to start getting into cryptocurrency or, stocks in general, it's a fun one to throw a few dollars at just so they can watch it go up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to get into one, not just for fun, do Bitcoin.
Well, yeah. No, hold up. I'm talking about 24 cents a share. Bitcoin is $63,000 a share.
Yeah, but you can get like a 0.00 whatever percent of a share.
I don't think you can do that through Robinhood, but you can go through another company or whatever and get like slices of a Bitcoin.
Yeah. That's the one that to me, like, it seems like it's going to be around. It's going to be like worthwhile. Dogecoin, Dogecoin, who knows what it's going to happen, right?
No, it's so unpredictable.
That is cool.
However, that's the cool thing about it is you can buy so many shares of it for such a little price. I mean, you put $15 into that for somebody who's interested in stock trading. And they can just watch that thing go up and down or whatever. And so it's kind of fun because it's like poker, right? It's a lot like poker. It's total gambling. Yeah. Right. My point was I was going to try to make is that if you're playing poker or blackjack, but you're not playing for money, it's not as interesting. Okay. But if you have money behind it, it's interesting. Yes. So if you're watching the stocks and you don't have any money invested, I don't care if it's even $5. You don't care as much as you think you do. You know what I mean? It's so much different than watching it and have $5 and be like, oh, I just made 60 cents. Like, that's just a cool thing. Yeah. I understand. I can't say that I'm immune to that either because, I've put like money into stocks as far as like a 401k and all that. I do all that through work. And then it's just like, who cares? Like, it's going to do its thing. Nothing I do is going to affect that at all. Right. But then with COVID and all that, I put a little bit of money into some crypto as well. So I'm watching that stuff, I'm learning a little more about it and getting into it. And, so I've got a tiny, tiny fraction of Bitcoin. It's probably went up a little bit, right? Oh yeah. No, it's been going up, pretty well. Like Bitcoin itself has gone up, it was 55,000 like a month ago, if that. Yeah, it's gone up over 15,000 since I got my little tiny bit of Bitcoin. Gotcha. Not the amount that I have, you know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. but even if you have $100 in it, I mean, you got whatever past that, Yeah. Yeah. So I did that. And then I got a little bit of Cardano just because there's no reason. I don't know. I just picked it. I don't know. Why not? Yeah. Why not? It was either that or Ethereum, and I was like, flip a coin, whatever. That's fair. If we had Eric on here, he would be able to tell us more. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. A couple more things, then we'll hit up with what you've been up to. We played and talked about Megacity Oceania and Sorcerer City, which were fun. Sorcerer City is just like Mad City, right? Where you just put the tiles out. I like Mad City. I actually like this better than Mad City, and I like Mad City a lot. Okay. Basically you flip out tiles. It's not about racing the other people. You have 1 minute and 45 seconds to kind of build your city. Yep. And then you go through a bunch of like scoring or whatever. You get red, blue, green, and yellow points. And like the blue converts to one of the other three. So then you go in order from red, which allows you to whoever has the most gets to take this card and a bonus. And then whoever's second and third, gets less.
Yeah.
Then you get to go through and buy new tiles in the order that you have the money, like whoever has got the most money.
Oh, man.
And then the green, right? The green basically allows you to convert straight into points. And you do that 5 times, but the only difference is at the end of each round, a monster gets added to your deck. And they'll do stuff like if you flip it out, you have to destroy a tile that you place it next to, things like that.
Okay, I like that. I like that part.
Oh, man, it is so good.
The other part that you just described sounds like it would lead to rich getting richer.
No, not whoever has the most money buys first.
Yeah.
No, not really. Because the stuff that's out there, like, may not be great, so they just buy some stuff and then flip out good tiles for you.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I absolutely had the most money every single round. I went first buying every single round and lost by like 70 points.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, so
oh, that's
you
good.
have to know when to stop making money and focus on getting points and things like that. Right.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Really, really fun. Megacity Oceania, fantastic.
Really?
Oh, it is so good.
I remember us talking about this when it was, I don't know, an Essen game or whatever it was.
Right. Origins. Yeah.
Origins. Yeah. Okay. And you stack up little, pieces to actually build skyscrapers, and then you push them across the table to put them into place.
Yep. However, you're building your skyscraper on everyone else's turn. So you build it, you push it a few inches to make sure it's stable and it's not going to fall over.
Yeah.
And then when it's your turn, you're like, all right, I'm ready. Here we go. I'm making a deliver action, and then you push it.
Are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to push it around when it's not time to push it?
That's what it says to do in the book. It's basically like build it in front of you, making sure it's stable. Then when you're ready and it's your turn, you get to push it. Because otherwise, if you're not doing a delivery on your turn, you're doing 2 actions. You can either like get a contract card, get a platform, which is the hexagon you build on.
Yeah.
Or you can draw pieces from the bag. There's some other actions, but it's basically like to cycle a contract because maybe you don't like the one that's on top, or cycle the platforms, or draw into the bag and get one specific piece instead of 3.
Okay.
So the turns are really fast. So like, I'm gonna get pieces and I'm gonna get this platform. You start building. By the time you get it built, it's your turn.
That's what I wanted to ask you about, because there seems to be some people that don't like the turn structure, but it doesn't seem to have bothered you at all.
What? That's the best thing about the game. That is fantastic.
I guess there are situations in the game where if you're not building, then you just pass your turn right away, and then it's back to the next person. They're like, well, crap, I needed time to build. Now I don't have it, Well, they don't pass their turn, but you're saying like, okay, I'm going to draft this card and this platform. I'm done. Yeah. And it's just like quick. And then the other person wants time to build and they don't get it.
Well, they get it. It says in the book that if they're not ready, you have to give them time.
Okay.
I think up until maybe the end game, most of the time people were ready before it was time to deliver.
Yeah.
And if you've played the game before, I'm assuming it's even easier because you're used to the pieces maybe.
Yeah, so you didn't see any awkwardness with the turn structure. I'm just going by what I may have read, about the game from before.
Right. If people are overthinking their buildings, sure, it's going to come back to your turn. And you want to deliver, so you have to like build, and everybody's waiting on you.
Yeah.
But the only reason that would seem out of like place or whatever is because the game's so fast otherwise. If, you're waiting for people, it's like 30 seconds. It's not that long. But the reason it seems kind of out of place is simply because, like the whole time you've been doing your turn in 5 seconds or 10 seconds.
Right.
And, it's like 30 seconds before it's your turn again. And then if you're not done building, everybody waits on you.
Yeah.
But overall, even 4 players, it was an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's just like the relativeness to the amount of time.
Yeah.
Just because like each person's turn is so quick. When anybody does have to pause and wait for somebody, it feels like it's a lot longer, and it really isn't that long.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But it sounds like your overall reaction to the game was just like you said, fantastic.
Yeah,
so
it is fantastic. I absolutely think everyone who likes dexterity, but don't want to be severely punished by dexterity, because if you knock over the pieces, You fail that delivery, you pull all that back, you get all your pieces, and then you just start building it again.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So all that happens is you like essentially lose a turn.
Ah, that's bad.
That is bad, but it doesn't feel as bad as it actually is.
Okay.
Just because the turns are so quick and everything. Oh, it's really good. I highly recommend it. I think this game only got or flew under the radars specifically because of COVID.
Okay.
It came out, I think, in October of 2019.
Oh.
And that's a few months before COVID really started, hitting everything.
Right. Well, if it takes off, do you think that the game will get some legs and people start playing this game? Because
no,
it sounds like the kind of game that could that could benefit from an expansion.
I agree. It would be awesome to have an expansion. The problem is I don't think that board games, when they come out, if they don't make a splash, they die.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I can't think of many board games where they came out, didn't do real well, and then 5 years later it was like, bam. Even a year later, it was like, bam.
Yeah, well, maybe if they went to Kickstarter or something like that. These games, they do this all the time where they come out with an expansion and republish the original game,
That would be cool. I could see them doing something like that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Other than that, the only other thing I'll mention is that Epic Games has Free Game Thursday, where you can get on Epic Games and download games or whatever. Can't believe I've never really brought this up before because it's awesome. Right now, we're recording this Thursday, but it doesn't matter. As long as you listen to it between this Thursday and next Thursday,
there'll be something there.
Yeah, there's always going to be something, but right now there's 3 free games. There's Deponia, The Complete Journey, The First Tree, and Kinfilet's The Pillars of the Earth, which is like a storytelling, like a Telltale's game type of game, or maybe like a King's Quest or whatever.
Yeah,
Dragon
based
Quest.
on a fantastic book. So yeah, I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. All right, what you been up to?
All right, so I've been working on this book, so almost nonstop. And you would think I wouldn't have anything to talk about because of that, and usually I don't. But this past week was also my spring break, and I was going to be damned if I wasn't going to get some kind of spring break. So I took 2 days, and Kat actually came and visited.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, and she stayed in a horse trailer, bless her heart. And, we wore masks and social distance and the whole thing, but it was great to see her anyway. And,
yeah, that's awesome.
And, up in the loft of the barn that we have, there's a space that, is actually really well lit, surprisingly. We've got these lights set up there. And so we cleared that out and put up some tables and, played some board games. I actually got to play some board games.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was so good. And so some of the games that we played a game called March of the Crabs, which is a little 2-player game, from France. And it's based on a French, graphic novel called March of the Crabs. And, it's got great art, of course, because of that. And it actually is a really clever, cooperative. You move. It's based on these things called square crabs, which are apparently crabs that can only move side to side. Like that's it. They go in a straight line their entire lives. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that's what it's based on. It sounds like it's possible. Unlikely, maybe. But so the book is based on this, but in the game,
They're called square crabs?
yeah, they're called square crabs.
Alexa, what is a square crab?
Gonflax rhomboids is a species of crab. It is known by the common name angular crab because of its angular carapace. Although it is also called the square crab, its shell is in fact more trapezoidal than square. This species is also known as the mud runner because they are able to run away quickly when threatened.
Okay.
No, nothing about movement, but that's fine.
No, too bad. But in the game, you can only go left or right, one of the players, and then the other player can go up and down because in the book and apparently in the game, you have 2 of these crabs that have decided to work together, so they sit one on top of the other at 90-degree angles, and they just flip each other over when they need to go the other direction. It's so funny. So you have to just move side to side, or the other player moves up and down, and you're moving around a grid of cards, and you have to find your crab friends. And there's all these different levels to the game where they add new rules, and it's really fun, really clever. There's a lot of luck based on it, but it's great.
What was that called again?
March of the Crabs, yeah. Or, if you're looking for it, it's going to be in French. La Marche.
Oh.
La Marche du Crabe or whatever. I don't know. I don't speak French. So, so that one we played, and this great 2-player game. And then we played a game that was also that I got along with that one when I ordered the games from France, and it's called Magic Rabbit that we've talked about before, where you have a bunch of rabbits that you mix up the order, and then they put them in hats, and the hats order is mixed up, and then you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to unscramble all the rabbits in the hats. But again, like this other March of Crabs game, there's levels, and so it gets more and more complicated. They add little rules and things that you have to do. Great time. We also played Endangered. I think it was last year that it came out, and it has tigers, it has sea otters and pandas, and you have to cooperatively save them by rolling dice and dice placement. And then there's a Kickstarter that came out shortly after the game did, and it's coming with, I think, 7 more creatures that you can try to save in the game. So Endangered was a great time. And
are these all co-ops?
Yes. Yeah, and the last co-op I think is the weakest of the games that we played, but it was still enjoyable. And it's one that I got in the math trade for free called Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time. It's fun, but it's so random. You roll these dice, and that's what the professor does. And sometimes you did nothing wrong, but you're screwed. So, but it was still a good time. Yeah, it was great being able to play some games and to see Kat and go on some long walks out here in the country. I'm sure she enjoyed that as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of games, I found Spirits of the Wild. Spirits of the Wild. It's a 2-player game by Mattel.
Yeah.
That's really good. I found it at half price for $10. This thing's going for $50 or $70 on eBay.
Oh, good Lord.
I don't know if I'll sell it because I've been collecting 2-player games for some odd reason now.
I've heard that's a good one. I haven't tried it, but it does really surprise me that it's going for that much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it was out of print and everybody wanted it. Huh. I don't know why they just don't print it again. It's Mattel.
Yeah, it was at Target or whatever.
Right.
Huh. Okay, well, good find. I've heard it's a good game.
All right, well, let's do some news real quick so we don't run out of time on this episode. The first thing I've got, I think George has some Kickstarter games he wants to go over possibly.
Sure.
The one thing I've got that I will mention is the Board Game Geek 15th Annual Golden Geek Awards is going on right now, where you can make nominations. If you truly want to help support our podcast, please go on there and nominate us. And then again, once the awards go live to where you can vote, obviously please vote for us. I'm not trying to win this, although it would be cool.
I am. Let's win it.
That would be awesome.
I'm just kidding.
But
it would be very nice.
I think if we're on the nominations list, that would help, because people look at the list of Board Game Podcast and be like, oh, they got nominated? Who are these people, right?
Sure, yeah. That's not going to hurt.
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it won't help at all. But
hey, we will appreciate it.
If you also want to help it, you can always go to, iTunes or like Apple Podcast or Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those things, Stitcher, Podbeam, we're everywhere. Anything that you listen to us on, just rate it. Even if you just go and click 5 stars or whatever you want to give us, hopefully, but 3 or 4, maybe 5, right? But give us a good review on those, because it helps get the word out.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to be the next, Dice Tower or anything like that, but it would be cool to spread our audience a little bit more. It's always fun to talk to people. I like when people are messaging us or emailing us and things like that.
Yes, do that too. Thanks,
do that too. That's really fun. Eventually, if people are doing that enough, we'll have like a Q&A session on every couple episodes. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be, yeah. Let's do that, guys.
Yeah. Send questions and comments to MeepleCore@gmail.com.
That's what we've needed to be saying.
Well, I do at the end of the podcast, but I doubt anybody listens to the outro. So what kind of Kickstarter stuff you got?
Well, I'll just mention a few Kickstarters that are up real quick. There's Long Shot, the dice game. And that looks like a pretty good roll and move, actually. But you're betting on these horses, just like the Long Shot board game. So in a much shorter format. Looks quite clever. There's a game that is heavier Euro based on Hippocrates. and his life and bringing together doctors in ancient Greece and curing patients and doing that sort of thing. There's a game that I'm interested in. It might be too much of a kid's game. I'm not sure. It's called Transmissions, and it's based on some children's books with wonderful art. I can't remember who they are by. Sorry. But these little robots, probably seen them on greeting cards and stuff. It's just fantastic kind of art. And it's a Euro game where everyone is playing cards to move robots around and get things done. So I hope it has enough of an adult, sort of bite to it. But certainly for families, it's going to be fantastic. And then there is an interesting game called Shadow Planet that looks like a hidden traitor, group of astronauts on a dangerous planet kind of thing. You should go and see this just to watch the video at the start of the Kickstarter because it has some great art, some great production value, in what they did with what they had. So, and the game looks interesting too. And finally, I'll mention Canvas. The card game has an expansion and original reprint on Kickstarter. So Canvas and Canvas Reflections looks like a very interesting game with very nice art. Robinson Crusoe, Kickstarter's over. In the end, I did get
Did you get hurt on the money?
I got hurt on the money. And here's the thing. For all the little bits that I wanted to get, they were adding up to the regular price of just getting the miniatures anyway. So I'm going to end up with the miniatures. I'm going to sell them to somebody. If you're interested, let me know. Like, there's no reason for miniatures in this game.
It could look sweet. I'd play with them first.
We'll see.
You can put your house and stuff, right?
Yeah, you can build your little house. Yeah.
If they were painted, it would look awesome.
Right. But I don't paint miniatures, so that's a problem. I've painted 2 miniatures, I think, ever.
Yeah?
Yeah, one of them was a mole preacher. I don't know why. It was cool looking, so I painted that one. And the other one was some other kind of animal, like...
Oh, man, you started off like
ranger
hard.
Or something, like a mouse ranger or something.
Right. Here's the thing. Painting skin and fur is really difficult to do if you haven't painted a lot.
Yeah, they turned out pretty well. It took forever. I'm not going to do anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like painting fur, dude, I can paint fur so fast because well, anyway, there's a bunch of techniques that you can do to make it easier, especially dry brushing.
Right.
It doesn't look as great as, say like a Golden Demon Award person, but
yeah,
that's like Great Games Workshop's like painting award.
Yeah, I'm too like picky, I think, about art. So I'm going to take my time and make, like the fingernails and everything and the eyeballs look right.
Right.
But I'm exhausted by the time I'm done. So yeah, I never went back to it.
That's fair.
Yeah. So anyway, Robinson Crusoe, that's done. And Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is a game that I've talked about on here before, and that one was successful. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to support the show, please visit our MeepleCore Humble Bundle partner link at MeepleCore.com. You can also look at our link tree that's on Instagram. You just click the link that's at the top and it'll take you to all our stuff, including the Humble Bundle partner link. Buy some stuff on there. We get a cut of it, especially Outriders. Give that a try and use our link. Such a good game.
A lot of fun.
I talked about it a little bit more on the last episode, 119. You can also hit patreon.com, but more importantly, check out that Board Game Geek 15th annual Golden Geek Awards. Nominate us, vote us when it's up, and give us a review on your favorite podcast app. So we got 3 games for this episode, and those games are City Builder, Ancient World, Vindication, and Praga Caput Regni. So the first game we have on this episode is City Builder Ancient World.
This is a 2021 game in which you plan your city well to welcome in important nobles and build impressive monuments. Its designer is Andre Philipp. The artist is Andrew Dorland, and it's published by Inside Up Games.
So City Builder is essentially a tile laying game where you're going to be taking tiles from your hand. You always have 3 of these. choosing one to put into play, and then you have the option to discard the other two. And what you're trying to do is between each player, there are these small little like boards that have meeples on it, essentially. We played the Tabletopia version, which I believe is more of a beta, but the actual version is going to have like actual meeples in different shapes.
Yeah, this is based on prototype art.
Correct. Yeah, as far as the screenshots, if you're watching the video. But basically, each board between you and your player on your left and the player on your right, each of those boards have 3 rows of meeples. There's 2 rows of, I think they're called commoners. There's 7 in each of those rows. And then the middle row is nobles, I believe. And there's 5 of those. As you're building your city, you're going to be allowed to take some of those meeples and put them on the houses in the cities that you make, the districts that you complete. And obviously those are of different colors. So you're trying to build the city to be able to take the specific meeples of those rows. Now, the middle meeple of each of the rows is a purple meeple, which is harder to get. But once you get it, it locks that row from the opponent, that's sitting next to you. So they can no longer take meeples from that row. So those commoners or the nobles.
No. Once you get that purple meeple, you can just keep going. And wherever you would meet your opponent, the last meeple can't be taken.
Oh, gotcha. It has been about a month since we played this because George's been working on the book. So I've been saving this one.
Yep.
Well, anyway, but the point is, there obviously work points as you get them off the board.
Yes. Increasing
Anyway, on top of that, there's also these monument cards, I think they're called, that are kind of in the middle that you can get. And those will be placed in your city if you have the right kind of like rectangle built. And those will give you different ways to score or, in-game scoring, things like that. Otherwise, what you're trying to do is when you place a tile, and you complete a district, there are like the different colored buildings, and there's white buildings, and the white buildings are where you're actually going to put those meeples, but you have to have different colors to do it. So like to take a common guy meeple, you have to have at least the color of that meeple plus another color, and also a free white building to be able to place it.
Correct.
And if you want to put a noble, then you have to have 2 of that color plus a third color and a building to place it in.
Yes.
And then I can't remember what it is for the purple, but it's more than that.
It's one of every single color.
That's what it was. Plus a white building to put it in.
Yeah.
So that's for the most part the game. You play until until like every tile has been played basically. And that ends the game. And then you go through and do points. Whoever has the most points is the winner, I believe. So if I'm forgetting anything, we'll mention it when we talk about it. But otherwise, let's start with you, George, since you found this one.
Yeah, this one is one that I played with the group that I play games with from the Deaf Board Game Convention. And we had a really good time with it. It's super easy. It's super quick to teach and to play. It has that between two cities sort of thing where you're competing with your neighbors on either side. Or actually in that one, I guess you're working together with your neighbors on either side. But in this one, you're actually competing with them. And this one was just the right length of time and really enjoyable play.
Yeah, actually, at first I was like, this is garbage. I'll be honest with you, I was not into it as much. Now, granted, that could be Tabletopia in general.
Yes.
Just because help. Tabletopia, I feel like cheapens a game to me, honestly.
Lord. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that format.
Yeah.
But as we're playing it, start to get the strategy down, you're like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. This is better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think it is deceptively fun. Yeah. Simple rules, deceptively fun gameplay for me.
Right. And you know, there's not that many games that have this, like, you're kind of directly competing with the person to your left and right.
Yeah.
And I kind of like those games. It's really weird. So, I mean, obviously it makes the best 3-player game. Simply because you're always, interacting with everybody in the game.
Yes. Yeah, very true.
Like Lewis and Clark, for instance, because you're not directly competing with those players to your left and right, but obviously you count up the badges that are shown only for the players to your left and right and yourself. So games like that kind of just inherently become the best at 3 players, but even not at 3 players, it's still a really cool game because, I don't know. I wonder how it would be if you're like picking on the person between somebody. Like if me and you were playing in a 4-player game, we would constantly play on the person that's between us, just taking all those meeples and locking them out.
That is, you could potentially, do that, but then you're allowing the other person to just run the table.
That's true.
It's an interesting dynamic.
It's probably not a thing that's going to happen, especially because those meeples are placed randomly on those boards. So you might get the tiles that allow you to build a specific color, but it's not the color that's on the player to your left. It's the colors that between you and the player to the right.
Yeah. And there's something we didn't mention because we haven't experienced it in playing this game. There is a cooperative version of the game in which you're working with everyone at the table to complete the Emperor's edicts. And so you have to build certain monuments, and when you fail to do so, you take these settlers and they start filling up your boards that are between you. And that limits what you're able to do. So that, you start to get constrained and eventually, can lose the game. And I think that sounds really cool.
That does sound really cool. I don't think that was an option on Tabletopia though, right?
I don't think so. No, I don't think it was.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And if you're watching the video, the artwork and the meeples and things like that, these are prototype components, even though they're digital.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you see the real components, they are a lot different.
Much more attractive than what we just showed you and what we experienced on Tabletopia.
I will agree with that.
So with that, with the attractive nature of the actual game and the gameplay of it, this is one I'm going to pick up.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun. I would be interested in this if it's a decent price and stuff. But putting a price aside, because obviously it doesn't detail if the game's good or not. It's actually interesting for a tile laying game. There's enough different here to set it apart from the others, especially with the stuff between you and the other player.
Right.
Oddly enough, even though this isn't really, flashy or whatever, but everything you build is like in diagonals.
Yeah.
Because all the roads are like diagonals. So all your districts are kind of like diagonals in a way.
Yeah. And it's tricky to do what you want in the very limited amount of time that you have.
In the limited amount of time, the limited amount of pieces, you don't want to build a district that's too big, because what happens is if you put too many white buildings in a district, you don't fill them up, because you only fill them up with the colored buildings, right? The red, blue, yellow, green buildings. But if you put too many of those in, then you might get like the ability to get 5 meeples, but only can place 3.
Yes, because you can never put more of the same color building in a district. So you get 1 red, you get 1 yellow, you get 1 green. That's it that you can put in there. So you're not doing yourself any favors by, giving yourself too many houses in there. You're just wasting houses.
I thought you can put multiples of the same color.
You cannot.
How do you get the nobles? I thought it was 2 of the same color.
Well, yes, but if let's say you put in a noble piece.
Oh, you're not talking about the buildings. You're talking about the actual meeples that go in. You're right.
Yeah, one of each color meeple. So if you put in a noble, that means you can't put in that same color settler.
Correct.
Or commoner.
Yeah. I did forget about that. Right.
Yeah.
Which changes the strategy quite a bit, because once you put essentially 2 red buildings in your district, you don't want to put any more red buildings in there because they're wasted.
Yes.
Really, even if you put 1 or 2 red buildings in there, it could be wasted if the next noble on your left and right isn't even red.
Yeah, you've got to be careful what you're doing, because you really have to kind of think ahead. And I can see where this could lend itself to the cooperative game, and I'm really excited to try that.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that. Well, anyway, if you got time, check it out on Tabletopia. I don't know if it's a Kickstarter that's eventually coming, or if the Kickstarter's done or whatever.
No, it's done. It's in people's hands right now.
Oh, well then cool.
Yeah.
Check it out on Tabletopia or buy it.
See if you can find a copy.
That's fair. All right. Anyway, that is City Builder Ancient World. The next game we're talking about on this episode is Vindication,
a 2018 release where you reclaim your honor by defeating monsters and gaining heroic abilities. This game is designed by Mark Needlinger The artists are Noah Edelman, Brett Carville, Emiliano Cordoba, Bartek Fedrikzak. Oh boy. Apologies.
Plus
for that
two
one.
more.
Plus two more. They don't tell me who they are. And the publisher is Orange Nebula, LLC.
So in Vindication, as he said, you're trying to reclaim your honor. I think it says you're a no good, dirty scoundrel, or what, I don't know what it says on your actual player card.
Yeah. And really quickly, I did find out, it's the other two artists are Noemi Concoli and Fu Thieu.
Very nice. So you basically are thrown overboard for whatever reason. You wash up on this island and somebody wakes you up, and then you go around trying to get honor and become a cool person and become vindicated. Basically, you're just getting points.
Yeah.
I think it's called renown, and whoever gets the most points by the end of the game is the winner, because you're way cooler vindicated than the other players, apparently. In this game, there is a map that's in the middle that will be developed as you walk around. Tiles will be drawn from a bag and placed out. It's a hexagonal grid, but none of the hexes are actually touching each other except for their points, which adds these little triangle spaces between three of the hexagons, which is where you're going to be moving around on. So you move from the triangles, and you're always next to, or mostly next to, three of the locations, or three of the hexagons.
Yes.
On your turn, you have three actions. The first action that you don't have to do them in the order, but you do have to move. You can't stay in the same spot. The other two actions is to activate one of your companions. That will usually give you resources. In this game, they're called attributes, like strength and knowledge, things like that. Basically, the red, blue, yellow, green, purple, and orange resources.
They're cubes.
They're cubes, yep. But you don't just get those cubes. In this game, you have a little board in front of you that has these hands on these orbs, and there's a big orb in the middle that's called influence. You have say you're the blue player, you have all your cubes in influence, and that's what you're going to be putting on the little circles of like knowledge, or circle of power, or strength. If it's on strength, it's a red resource. If it's on knowledge, it's a blue resource. At any time, you can convert to a secondary color, so you can spend one of your strength and knowledge, which is blue and red, to get a purple wisdom resource. The
Color
reason
theory.
you need, what is it?
Color theory.
Color theory, yeah. Primary and secondary colors. Now, if you think about it like this, your influence is kind of like a common resource, and then you have what's called conviction, which is like a rare resource. You'll use those for harder things to come by, right? You also have a potential spot, but basically the cubes in there aren't even in the game. You have to do things to what's called augment, in which you can take potential, convert it to influence, or take influence to convert it to conviction. The reason you want more potential is because obviously it's going to give you more influence to dish out to those different things. And you have to have all your potential in the game to influence before you become vindicated, which essentially just gives you points and a little cooler power. Anyway, you're going to be moving around on this board and doing the actions, or like you said, those three actions. Now, when you activate a companion, you simply put an influence on that companion and do what it says. They have a special ability you may activate, but mostly you're going to put it on there to get the attributes that it provides. Maybe it'll say 2 knowledge. So you get to put 2 of your influence onto the knowledge sphere. You can also activate your player character, which doesn't cost influence, but it gives you like one of the 3 basic colors, which is yellow, blue, or red. You can also, the third type of action you can do is visit a location. There's a bunch of locations in the game, so I'll just kind of really briefly go over some of them. Some of them will allow you to just get 2 of one of the 3 basic resources. There's an inn that you will spend 2 of those basic resources, like 2 yellow, 2 blue, or 2 red, to buy a companion from one of the decks. Around the main board, there are 6 kind of sections. Each section is representing one of the colors, and every color has its own deck, which is face down, and then one card that's face up that you can either take the face up card or top deck card from the deck whenever you do stuff to get a card. So in the case of the inn, if you spend 2 red, you'll just take the red companion that's showing or take the top of the deck. Same thing with everything else. There's a purple location that will give you relics, and the relics they'll have charges on them that you can use, they're really good, but they run out of charges, obviously. There's traits, and when you get those are like passive abilities. Obviously, the 3 companion spots that will give you abilities to activate with your influence. And there's a monster deck that you fight, quote unquote, if you didn't see. When you fight the monster, you simply grab it. All the companions in the game have a number. Whichever one is the lowest among the ones that you have is your champion. And that's the one that's fighting the monster. You roll this black and a white die. Whatever white die shows, that's what resource you get. And the black die can either put fatigue on your guy, which will give them influence tokens, which is bad because every time you activate them, they get influence tokens. And you don't want all your influence tied up on a companion. And if they die or you get rid of them, you'll lose their victory points, essentially. Other than that, it could also kill them as well, which could be actually a blessing in disguise. Anyway, that's mostly the game. The only other things I'll mention is that around the board is a score track, which have these coins. And once you pass over them, it's going to flip out more in-game conditions. So at the beginning of the game, there's 2 in-game cards that come out, during setup, and it tells you how the game's going to end. But more of those will come out up until you might have 6 of those out. So the game will eventually come crashing fast. And then all that says is when it triggers the end game, maybe it says control 4 locations above any other player, which we'll talk about in just a second because I forgot about it. But when you control, when that happens, it triggers the end of the game, and you play one more round essentially once you finish the current round. The last 2 things I'll mention before we start talking is that you can control an area by spending conviction to put a cube on the location. And that's going to allow you to, basically get victory points if somebody uses that spot, kind of like Lords of Waterdeep in a way, or other games where you own something. And if somebody uses it, you get points for it. And lastly, there's a secret objective card that you have, and that will basically say get points for doing these things throughout the game. Oh, I forgot. You can also, you have a mount that you can upgrade throughout the game as well at one of the locations to get more speed, but it also gives you victory points.
Yes.
So, George, what did you think about this adventure game in disguise?
Well, it's a very good disguise. So this game is trying very hard, very, very hard to introduce some theme into this exceedingly dry Euro sandbox system. And I'm not sure I understand it, because you start off the game, your card literally says you're a scumbag. So you start as a scumbag, and the idea of the game is Vindication, but Vindication would indicate that you aren't really a scumbag. You were wrongly accused of being a scumbag. So are you a scumbag or are you not a scumbag? Because if you're vindicated, it means you've proven that you were wronged.
That's true. What was the actual wording on the player card? I can't remember.
It was something about scumbags.
Oh, here it is. A guilt-ridden scumbag.
It says you are a guilt-ridden scumbag. You wouldn't be guilt-ridden if you wanted vindication. Because you would know that it wasn't your fault. You didn't do it.
That's interesting. I didn't actually read the rulebook story. It doesn't have that much story anyway. And I will mention it before we start talking about everything. The game has 1.5 million modules and things that you can add to the game.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. We didn't play with any of that. We just played the base game.
Yeah. I think that, so the title seems wrong is what I'm saying. Just right off the bat. It should be Redemption. This game is Redemption, the board game.
It was actually titled, Epic, like EPOCH.
Oh. Okay. That wouldn't make sense either.
Epic the Awakening.
Okay, well, I'm glad they went with Vindication, I guess.
Maybe Redemption, but that's a card game, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. So at any rate, the game itself, it has all of these cool pictures, and it should feel like there's theme going on and you're really going through a story and having an adventure. But it's cube pushing. It really is.
No, I'll agree with that. It is basically distilled down to put your cubes on spots and then convert those into better spots.
Yes. And do that better than the other people that are doing the exact same kinds of thing.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing to me.
Well, for me, I loved it.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
The story doesn't matter to me in most games. Like, it's cool.
Apparently, you didn't even read it.
Well, I mean, there's not much of a story is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be a paragraph. You know what I mean? I think the story is pretty much the back of the box.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I didn't look.
Yeah. Either way, though, it is kind of a neat game. I like if you just compare it to other Euro type of games, it is very, very good. It's very fast. It's not that long of a game. We played it 2 players, and this thing was like 45 minutes.
I will say I really do enjoy the fact that there are all those end of game cards, and so the end of the game is coming. Like this can't go on too long. I wouldn't think. Maybe there's a way. No. Maybe there's some loop you can get into. I don't know.
Some of the end of game cards are going to happen quicker with more players. Some of them are going to happen more with less players.
Okay.
And vice versa. Because like one of them is like everybody has to become vindicated. In like a 5-player game, some people may not actually become vindicated specifically because they have secret objective cards that tell them not to.
Or they might just really be scumbags.
Right. Yeah. Because basically those secret objectives, you get points for having certain amount of cubes in your potential, but you have to get rid of all your potential to become vindicated. So that player is never going to become vindicated, which means that end of game thing's never going to trigger.
Okay.
But in a 2-player game, that could trigger really fast because the requirements aren't really that hard to come across.
Yep.
So it is interesting. You really have to pay attention to what in-game triggers are out there. Mm-hmm. And what your goal is and what strategy is. And it's also interesting because if an end of game comes out, you look at it and say, can I trigger this really fast because I am in the lead? Or how can I stop it from triggering because I need a bunch of turns before I can catch up?
Yeah, it's not hidden scoring. So you know if you're in the lead.
You do know if you're in the lead. Yeah, because everything you do gives you points and you move everything on the... About the only thing that isn't end of game is, like the monsters will give you some points based on certain things you have, but that's calculatable in the game. Uh-huh. You just look over to the player and it says they get 2 points for all of these things.
Yeah.
Some of them you don't know what they would end with because maybe they'll get points for having like cubes in the wisdom thing, and maybe they can put a couple of cubes in there at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Or, the scoring secret objectives, but those are always worth the same amount of points. They just have to do different things. So you don't know if they've met that or not.
Right.
So there's a little bit of uncertainty to the points, but it's pretty simple to look and say, I'm probably going to win this, or I need another turn or two.
Yeah. And the whole game itself, I will give it credit. The game itself is simple. It's in the sense that it's very clear what you're doing. We didn't need to look at the rules once.
No, not really. Right.
So that's a big mark in its favor, and it flows very well. It's very smoothly done. You said it was fast for games of its type. Would you say that games of its type would be things like Scythe or Terraforming Mars or Gaia Project, that kind of thing?
I don't know about Gaia Project. That one's probably a lot deeper.
Well, it's got that idea of moving cubes from a pool into another thing before you can use them. Right.
I don't know of a direct game to compare it to at the moment without thinking about it beforehand. But I will say that in the time, I mean, it's almost like a medium weight, but more on the lighter side.
Yes. Yeah. It did seem lighter. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't call it a light game, but I would call it like it's right at the cusp of being a light game from the medium category.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It is very quick. It's very easy to understand. You can teach us pretty much anybody. And I like the length of it tremendously because it is going to end. The game board is dynamic. So every time you play it, it's going to be a different layout and like different strategies will work better.
Yep.
So, and then there's tons of modules you can add. There's a bunch of kind of unnecessary components, which probably increases the cost of the game.
Oh,
but
definitely.
As far as the game itself, it is worth it. You know,
Well,
if you're willing to pay, like if you were going to play it without it, you know, it's not your copy, you're going to probably like it if you like those type of games.
I will probably play this on Tabletop Simulator, simply because this came out as a Kickstarter with all these extra things, and they're exclusive, and now you can't get them unless you pay the money.
There is stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, so I don't appreciate that very much at all. And then this is a game that is the poster child for games that don't need miniatures and yet somehow still have them.
There is a bunch of miniatures. They look good.
The
But
art
it's
on the cards looks
unnecessary.
good too, but all these monsters and all these companions, they said, let's make a miniature of that.
What's really interesting is all these miniatures, but you move around like a banner. In the actual game, in the physical game, I think it's like a metal coin that's like a rectangle that you slot into a stand. You couldn't have made miniatures for the player characters.
There's
and we
no
move those
point.
around.
There's absolutely no purpose to this unless they're going to make a role-playing game based on Vindication, and then you can use the miniatures in the role-playing game. That would be the only purpose.
I think miniatures for like moving around would actually be cool, but some of the other miniatures just kind of stand out there, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like Robinson Crusoe. They're not necessary. You don't need these miniatures. It's just adding to the cost and irritation. Oh, well.
That's fair. Well, we're going to wrap this one up, but for the most part, this is a game that I will be seeking out. It is tremendous. I think if you aren't really into Euros, it's still a good one to look at.
I would
because
agree.
it does have this adventure feel to it. You know, it's kind of, it's got story going on, but yeah, right. It's kind of like doesn't matter. Except, you know, you do get to fight monsters and collect relics and all this stuff. It just ends up being like a Euro where you're collecting cards. It's like a set collection game with resource management, I guess.
It's got a bit of points-ality stuff. There's lots of ways to get points in this one.
Yeah, which is awesome. But I like it a lot. Check it out. That's Vindication.
I would choose it over Scythe, Terraforming Mars, and Gaia Project.
Oh, wait. I don't know about the Terraforming Mars thing. Terraforming Mars is pretty good.
Okay.
Anyway, that is Vindication. And the last game we have for this episode is Praga Caput Regni.
A 2020 release. The wealthy citizens of medieval Prague organize building projects to gain the king's favor. The designer is Vladimir Suchi. The artist is Milan Vavron, and the publisher is Rio Grande Games.
And I have no clue if I pronounced the actual game name right, but I know Praga is correct.
Praga Caput Regni. I think it means the king died in Prague. I'm just kidding. That's not what it means. But
did you make that up? Alexa, what is Praga Caput Regni?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Drhal.com, caput succedaneum, is a boggy, indistinct swelling of the scalp of newborns caused by the...
Stop.
That's good to know.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
The king had a swelling of his scalp in Prague.
We're making up our own story. Here we go. Anyway, this game, if you just look at it with no context and you don't like deep games, you're immediately going to walk away from this because it looks insane.
Yeah, it does. Oh, man.
There is a lot going on.
Busy.
There's a lot of components, all that jazz, right? The board is just massive. But what's cool about it is that mostly you don't really use anything besides the top right of the board, during each turn.
Yeah.
You use the rest of the board for other things, for some of the actions. But the game is really a simple game in concept. You have this kind of like a gear wheel that you're going to be turning around, right? It has all these different slots for hexagons like a clock. Your turn consists of taking one of those hexagons, it's a double hexagon, doing one of the two actions it shows, turning the wheel one time clockwise, and then putting the hexagon at the 12 o'clock space and then letting the next player go. When you take one of these hexagons, if it's closer to the 12 o'clock, it's going to cost you money to take. Then as it gets like to the 4 to 6 range, it's free. And then from the 7 and on range, it actually gives you victory points for taking them, which in turn basically says if an action tile isn't getting picked mostly, it's going to end up being victory points for you to take. So it becomes more incentivized.
Yeah. If you're just patient, if you wait until after 7 o'clock.
Each of those spots also has a bonus action that you can do. We probably won't get too much into that. Sometimes it just gives you gold, etc. The actions, there are 6 different actions you can take, and a lot of these work similar to each other. So in front of you, you have this little wheel, which apparently I didn't take a screenshot of.
You passed it?
Did I? Okay. Well, you have this little wheel in front of you.
There it is.
Well, I'm looking for this thing right here, but you have this little wheel that has all 6 actions on it, right? And then you have a player board that has these 2 wheels that you'll move for your gold and your stone, and also these little tracks that you'll move a square cube on to show you how many mines that you own of gold or stone. The 2 of the actions you can take is to mine, and it's either mine gold or mine stone. When you have that action, there's actually 2 things you can do. You can either increase the number of mines that you have, which will move that cube up from like say 4 to 5, and then take 1 stone or 1 gold, depending on which tile you picked. Or you can do what's called produce, and you will get as many of that resource as you have that cube. So if you have your gold mines on 5, you can either take 5 gold, or you can increase that number to 6 and take 1 gold. So obviously next time you would, get 6 if you produced, or 7 or 8. On top of that, as you move the square, it's going to free up like these little victory point spots, and you'll get those as well when you produce. And then once you get to the end, you also get like this production thing that you can add there that gives you something else. It's like a little bonus. And then as you collect those resources and move the wheel around, it will unlock a few bonuses that are one-time bonuses as well. So there's some cool stuff going on there. 3 of the other actions are about tiles. And these tiles are on the board, and there's like 3 rows of them. One row is to upgrade an action tile, or it's an action upgrade tile. When you get it, you'll put it over top of your action that corresponds with the same thing. So say, for instance, you're doing a lot of gold actions, right? You can upgrade that one if there's that tile available. And maybe every time you do that action, now you'll get a victory point. Things like that, right? You can also buy castle tiles, which are gray, and those will go around your action board like a wall and connect together and things like that. And you'll get tokens and some bonuses and everything. Those also correspond to the very top left of the board. There are these like chessboard looking things. Basically all it is a score track. And as you move your meeple on that score track, it's going to make these red and blue tiles that you'll collect from they're like little circle chits. You'll get those when you are connecting your buildings or your castle tiles. And that's how you get those to become worth more points, is moving up on those chessboards, basically. I'm calling them chessboards, but really I think it's like some kind of wall and like a bazaar or something. I don't know
it's
what
like
they're called.
Like an abbey or something like that.
But it does look like a chessboard if you don't put the 3D models there and you move them.
Right. Which you might not want to do because they're just going to block the whole rest of the board.
It is kind of hard to see in physical realm. We did play this on Tabletop Simulator, so it was a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Anyway, the third type of thing you can get is a building, and those will go down on the bottom half of the board, which is why this game board looks so busy, because it's a lot of spaces to put some buildings.
Huge.
And when you put those buildings, they're going to be next to these pavilions, I think they're called. And when a pavilion is all the spaces around it is filled up, it's like an area control. And there's like a bonus for whoever has the most, and a second bonus as well. So the last action is to move along the road to the bridge. And when you take this action, you basically move your piece up 1 space, which will give you an ability. Plus, if you have eggs, which is a resource, you can do the second ability. Once you get to the very end of the road, you actually get to place one of the like platforms on the bridge, which is essentially kind of a way to get an in-game scoring. For the most part, that's the game. There's a lot more to this, but that is the easiest way to distill it without talking a whole lot. Anyway, let's start with you, George. What you think about this one?
Well, if you are the kind of person who really enjoys Euro games, this is your jam, because this is a master of making these kind of Euro games, making one that he really kind of cares about himself. This was apparently his hometown, and this is like a passion project from what I've heard.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, it's lovely. It is. It is a lovely, long, soulless Euro.
No, I mean, I can see your point, which ironically, I just subject him to so many Euros, basically. And every time we have a podcast, it's like, here's a bunch of Euros.
Yeah.
It's my favorite type of game. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this game. I like the simplicity of the action selection, that gear that you move. It's kind of really cool.
Yeah, let me jump back in on that, because I do. Yes, overall, not my kind of game, but man, that rondel gear situation where you get to turn your piece one way or the other when you get the bonus from it. It's really good, and all it is a mechanism for, like you said, having a penalty for taking things quickly and a bonus for taking things later. But it's lovely. It really works really, really very well.
Yeah, it's awesome. And as a matter of fact, if that was like a separate board, I think the game wouldn't feel as busy. Because that is all the thing that you interact with. The rest of the board is like to put buildings on or to move things up a track.
Right. And that makes the entire game for me, because you have these little bonuses that you get along with whatever the action is that you're choosing. And so you have basically 3 decisions to make in one package. Like, where are you going to choose on the wheel based on how much you want to pay or gain? And what action are you actually looking for? And what bonus are you going to pair that action with, especially in the basic game where there's 2 of each action on the wheel. So the bonus matters.
Yeah.
The bonus makes the difference if you already know the action that you want. And so that whole process is just complicated enough that you don't get AP and you enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't think you get AP because there's only 6 tiles.
Right.
Each tile has 2 different actions on it.
Yep.
And in the base game, you actually play with essentially 3 different tiles. There's just 2 of each.
Yeah.
And you can flip those tiles over to the gray side, which has all 6 actions, but they're paired with a different action, right? So like the same 2 aren't on 2 tokens.
Yeah.
Which would probably be better, but
playing the game is quick, and butter smooth, or if I'm going to use a food analogy, maybe, like frothy egg smooth. I'm not sure. This game has a thing about eggs.
At least it makes sense to the game though.
It does. They used eggs in construction, and, supposedly construction of the bridge in the game was done with eggs as some sort of a glue. I don't know, but
right. What it say in the book? Like the king had all these local farmers and stuff just bring carts and carts of eggs, but then somebody got it confused and brought like a bunch of hard boiled ones. I can't use these. Yeah.
And they use it to create brick or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like that the actions are pretty simple. There's essentially 3 actions, right? Because 2 of them are mining actions, 3 of them are grabbing tiles, and then 1's moving on the bridge.
Yeah, that's it.
So there's only really 3 different actions, even though the other ones kind of work a little different than each other. And I love the idea between the when you get gold or stone, you can choose to either get a bunch of the resource or increase the number of mines that you have and only get 1 resource. That was crazy cool.
That's really good. Yeah, it really is nice.
Yeah, it's like an investment, because you're investing, but not only are you increasing the number of mines, but you're unlocking those other things that will happen when you produce. And you get that production thing if you go far enough ahead to where it gives you a different bonus, which those are limited. So it's kind of a first come, first serve, but you can get like a stone when you like a stone tile and put it in your gold mine. So anytime you produce gold, you also get a stone.
Right.
Really, really cool ways to play the game and have different strategies.
The whole thing is get this thing in order to get that other thing. And
that's every Euro.
It's true. But in this one, I will say it really is get this thing to get that thing and get this bonus along the way and make sure you combo those bonuses to get more stuff.
Yeah.
And there's this crucial element in the game where you can do certain things to get extra turns. And that is massive in a Euro where you only get 18 turns altogether.
Oh yeah. Because you get those little windows and you can spin those to, I don't know why they're windows, whatever. But if you get,
why are they eggs?
Like these,
why are they windows? Doesn't matter. It's about Prague.
Yeah. Weird resources. At least it's not like tapestries and rubies. But yeah, you get these windows and you can spin them to basically take another action. Yeah.
That's a big deal. And it feels good to do that. The game feels good as you're playing it.
Right. It's got to be good if George is saying it feels good to play.
Yes. And man, this is a long game. But it did feel good throughout the play of it.
I can't remember. How long did it take us to play this?
I don't remember, but I will say that teaching
no matter
the game,
how long it was, it felt long.
It felt, well, no.
It was 4 hours.
Okay,
I think that's probably a little longer than normal because it's Tabletop Simulator.
Yes, but okay, let's say it's 2 hours in real life. That's still a long game. It's a
longer Euro for sure.
Yeah. And you have to consider there's an hour of teaching this game. This is not a game you jump right into.
Right. No, you're right.
There's way too much to teach in this game.
There's a lot of teaching in the game. It's interesting because the time frames of our digital games are a lot longer than our physical games.
Yeah. So we have to sort of take it with a grain of salt.
Right. So take our 4 hours with definite grain of salt. And sometimes we don't pause that if people are, run to the restroom and things like that.
Sure. So, yeah. And it does slow you down when you're trying to, do things on the computer. So, but it's a long teach. It's a long game. But I will say it is the kind of Euro that felt good all the way through. You're getting things accomplished. Okay, most of those things are you're moving up on tracks, even though they're disguised. They try not to look like tracks. They're still tracks. It's still a Euro. You're still moving things on tracks.
That's true. What's interesting, though, is like some of the actions become irrelevant after a while. Because if you move around on that sidewalk to the bridge and you're at the end, you basically can't take that action anymore.
That made me sad.
It did make you sad. The good news is every action is paired with another action. So it's not like any of the tiles become unusable to choose.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
This is a really good game. I'm looking forward to getting this one, which I basically already have. Thank you, James.
Yes. James made a very, very generous offer.
Yep. I just got to make the trip.
Yeah. Would you pick this game, Tim, over, let's say, Clans of Caledonia?
Oh, they're really different, honestly.
Okay. Or how about this game or Trajan?
Trajan wins. Trajan is a really good game to me.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. And
I'll tell you this. I think Praga has a limited number of plays.
Okay.
Like I want to own it, but if I don't expect myself to play this 30 times.
Yeah.
Or 15 times. And even if I did, you see the same thing the whole time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I suppose you do in Trajan, but what's cool about that is you're fighting yourself with the rondel. And so it's a cool puzzle to figure out with yourself.
Yeah.
This isn't a puzzle. This is just when it's my turn, which of these actions are going to benefit me the most right now?
Okay.
And in my overall strategy. But Trajan is like,
it is easier
I'm moving
than
this
Trajan.
here and then moving this here. And then it's a little bit of a puzzle.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a fun puzzle to solve each time you play it. Whereas this is going to probably become samey after you played it 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
Especially because of the length.
Yeah.
Because the game is longer and every time you play it, you really are doing the same thing a bunch of times.
Yeah. The other one, this one really made me feel like was Crown of Amara.
Now, Crown of Amara is pretty dope too. Obviously, since it was in my top 20.
Yeah, I'm giving you a hard time here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like Praga, but I think I do like Crown of Amara better.
Yeah.
And I definitely like Trajan better.
All three of those sort of give me the same feel.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, I guess because two of them have rondelles, and this isn't necessarily a rondelle. It's just the same thing as putting the cards in a line.
Yeah.
And then putting gold on the ones you don't select or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Clans of Caledonia is not really the same. It's just long.
Yeah, it is long. It's even way longer turn-based on Board Game Arena. It's like 3 weeks long.
And yet it's still a Euro that I can enjoy. So this is in that category. This is in that category for me, Euros that I can enjoy.
Yeah, I think this one might be a little too long. It'd be interesting if I played it a few more times, and especially physically, if we can get that length down.
Yeah.
And if I can get it around the 120 to 150 minutes, it'll be amazing. If I'm always playing this and it's 3 and 4 hours, that's rough.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have you bring people over for a board game night, unless you just play the same game a lot, which we don't.
No.
You really want to get a couple of board games in, and this one's never really going to hit the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's sad. But if you like longer Euros, I definitely would check this one out.
If you like puzzly efficiency things with very little interaction, and
there's not a lot of
points from everything you do.
I will say the interaction in this one is okay in some aspects, where it's got that area control aspect to the buildings and the board.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's true.
That is pretty cool, but it's not like dramatic.
Yeah.
Each of those pavilions have 2 rewards. Whoever has the most buildings built around it gets both, and everyone else that's there and present gets one of the 2.
Okay, I like that. I like the cooperative building of the city, and everyone gets stuff for doing it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So it's competitive, but you're still kind of helping each other in a way. Like, well, you build here, I'll build here too. Why not?
Yeah.
You just try to build a little bit more so you get both rewards.
There's nothing in this game that feels bad. You never have a turn where you're like, well, I did nothing and Eric stole my stuff.
Not that happens, he's saying. Right. There's no direct, take that type of stuff at all.
No. Yeah.
It's really just beat you to the punch, or I got a little bit more than you did.
Yep. Yeah. I'm comboing stuff better than you are.
Right. Yeah. There's a little bit of envy that happens throughout the game for sure.
But it's good stuff. It's a good feeling. Good feeling game.
Yep. All right. Anything else on this one?
That's all from me.
Anyway, that is Praga Caput Regni. We're at the end of the show, George. End of the show.
Oh, we made it. I'm back to work now.
Back to work? Are you working after this?
I will be. Oh, God, yeah.
Just work all day long.
Oh, man. I get
work
hours,
while I sing this song.
Couple
That's
hours
an
of
Adam
sleep.
Sandler song.
Is it?
Yeah. It's worse than that, but
yeah, well, that's my life until the end of the first week of May.
Well, that's fair. You ready to wrap this one up then?
Let's do it.
All right. We want to thank you again for tuning into episode 120 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. This episode was recorded on April 15th, 2021. Please send questions and comments to MeepleCore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. Until next time, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple.
George Breden.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.